communicate with YouTube through our admin people. But those who are on Zoom, they can communicate with us on chat. We will have a number of people on YouTube too, and they send comments. And Hira is going to read the comments and send us the questions. Okay, we also have our Professor Yutsumoto here, who is from APU.
Hello.
Good morning. Good evening, Professor Yutsumoto. He was with me in the field trip.
Good evening. Good morning.
Hello.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good to see you.
Yes.
Hi.
Hello.
Okay, I'm going to open the room in a few seconds. Admin, please open the room. Thank you for joining us again, or those who joined Scott for the first time. We welcome you, and we are very happy to be with you with Scott, volume 62. Today's webinar is going to cover a very important destination, which is Turkey, or Türkiye. We have people from Türkiye who are going to share knowledge about the importance of Türkiye in tourism in general and in the region that the country exists. As usual, I'm going to invite the president of SCOT, Professor Jafari, to enlighten us with opening remark. And following the opening remark, I'm going to introduce our moderator today, who is Professor Fevzi, and we start the webinar as usual. Professor Jafari, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Dr. Qasim, and welcome everybody. I think this the videos, the microphone should be muted. Qasim, Dr. Qasim.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much for joining this webinar. We have been doing this webinar since the beginning, this webinar series since the beginning of COVID, and we have done more than 100 webinars already. Welcome to this particular webinar. I'm myself very excited about this topic because I have been observing Turkey for many years as a scholar, not as a tourist, but I'm always admiring the progresses that Turkey has had in a number of years. I know that the subject of the webinar today is the future of tourism in Turkey, but I'm so much interested in the past developments of Turkey. What happened that Turkey came on the top? There are 58 Muslim countries according to Organization of Islamic Countries. 47 of them are Muslim majority. Among the 47 Muslim majority, 2 countries have come to the top of tourism chart, Turkey and Malaysia. I mean, this is amazing. This is very impressive. In Muslim countries, there are opportunities, and then the limitations, and how these two countries managed to come with this stretch of tourism development, which is world-class, is admired in everywhere. And this is really something very important that I would like to know, because to understand the future that you wish to project uh, is sitting on the roots of the achievements of the past. And I know you're not going to talk about the past, you're going to talk about the future of tourism in Turkey. But somehow, if you have an opportunity, give us some clues as what led Turkey to have such a uh, mass market development with class, with peace and tranquility. Again, Middle East is is a place that things are not settled all the time. Nevertheless, Turkey has done wonderful despite all the odds. I also noticed that formally recently, as of 2 years ago, 3 years ago, Turkey formally changed its name to Turkey from Turkey. Is this a question that I have for you? Does it have a marketing tone in it? Was the tourism industry of Turkey behind the change, or did it happen for other reasons? The name always makes a big difference in tourism, and of course, I as an outsider like find the name Turkey more attractive, not Turkey, which gets confused with something else, and so on and so forth. And a number of countries have two names. Now you don't have two names; you have the same name but pronounced Turkey now, which is the correct way of Turkish way. But some countries that have two names, formally two names, not formally, informally two names, they capitalize on one of the two names, uh, like Holland. Holland is more attractive as a tourism destination than Netherlands. So they promote Holland. Iran, your neighboring country of Turkey, has a name that is used outside of Iran, but not so much in Iran, and that's Persia. So Persia is used in marketing more and more. In the previous regime, and now recently, the new regime is using the word Persia in order to promote tourism in Iran. So I was wondering if there is a message or a reason behind the name change. Again, for you, name change is not the case, is the pronunciation, which is changed to Turkey. So if you comment on that one, or any particular things that Turkey did as a Muslim country or as a European country that brought it to the top of the chart, that would be very interesting to me, and I'm sure to your audience. So I'm all eager to learn from you about the past progress of Turkey and all the futures plans that you are going to share with us. Fevzi, back to you. Dr.
Thank you.
Fevzi.
Thank
Khan,
you,
you
Jafar.
would like to introduce?
Yes, thank you very much, Professor Jafar. And yes, we are going to start a very important topic, Turkey. I'm sure Fevzi and his team are going to tell us about the challenges that the destination is facing, bringing some practical solutions for the audience. Please make sure that you are ready to send your questions to the chat. And at the end of the webinar, we are going to answer the questions based on our time availability. So I'm going to introduce the moderator of today's webinar, Professor Fevzi Okamus, who is the Central Florida Hotel and Lodging Association, permanent chair professor within the Hospitality Service Department at the University of Central Florida's Rosen College of Hospitality Management. He was the founding chair of Hospitality Service Department at UCF Rosen College. His main teaching and research area include strategic management, leadership, hospitality management, service marketing, training, and lodging. He has over 330 academic publications, over 210 refereed journal articles, 7 books, 12 book chapters, and 19 conferences. So with all these, I think, Fevzi, you don't need to be introduced. And yeah, I don't want to kill the time here. Fevzi has passed over 28,000 citations. So everybody know you, and we are looking forward to learn from your expertise tonight. Back to you, Fevzi, and your team.
Thank you very much. First of all, it's my honor to moderate this webinar. We have 4 wonderful panelists. First of all, Professor Jafar Jafari has been one of my mentors. He always says he discovered me in Hong Kong years ago and appointed me to the Annals of Tourism Research editorial board when I was a little baby in my academic career. And Professor Muzaffer Uysal has been also one of my mentors. A big brother always guides, helps, and supports me. Today's topic is basically the future of tourism in Turkey, challenges and how to move forward. Before I introduce our panelists, I want to emphasize a couple of things. In 2 days' time, October 29, Turkey, all Turkish people, and those people who love Turkey, we will celebrate 101st anniversary of modern Turkish Republic. So I take the opportunity to congratulate all our fellow Turkish citizens, brothers, sisters, and all those who love Turkey. So this is an important milestone, 101st anniversary, and hopefully there will be many hundreds of years to return. Second, what I realized today, I joined the tourism industry almost 42 years ago when I started my high school of Hotel and Tourism Management in Bolu. So my time in tourism is almost 42 years. I have been in tourism, especially following the Turkish tourism industry. And I'm sure Professor Ibrahim Birkan and Professor Muzo Uysal and also Professor Musa Pınar also have been following longer than me the tourism industry in Turkey. So we are well established, I think, know all the development for the past 40 years. Ebru, I will say at least 30 years. Today, we will discuss things about the tourism industry in Turkey. I think, as Professor Jafari mentioned, Turkey's tourism is a success story. We are very proud of everything. And today, if we make any criticisms and comments, our intention is to make Turkish tourism stronger, better, and more competitive. I was in Turkey last week in Kuşadası. I was amazed with the quality of hotels and everything. Yet there are certain areas for improvement and many opportunities. One more thing before we start. I've been to so many different countries, and to all the discussions today are very relevant to many other destinations, Greece, Egypt, Italy, Spain, Portugal, many destinations globally. Even I've been living in Orlando, Florida, in the United States for the past 20 years. And some of the discussions today are also very relevant to our own industry here where I live for the last 20 years. So having said this, I want to introduce Professor Ibrahim Birkan. Basically, if you are in Turkey, everyone knows him. He is very unique because he was a hotelier for many years, worked for leading hotel companies, including Sheraton, investor, manager, executive, and he knows academia and also he knows the industry. And a wonderful friend, wonderful mentor. And he is well connected in Ankara with all the government officials and also industry partners. So basically, he will tell us about the infrastructure, investment, and product development. And next speaker, Professor Ebru Günlü Küçükaltan. She's the Dean of Tourism Faculty at 9 Eylül University. I have known her for almost 25 years, and I think she's the right person to tell us about hospitality and tourism education in Turkey, including public education to high schools and 2-year vocational hospitality and tourism schools, as well as degrees and masters and PhD. And Professor Uysal, he's one of the gurus, fathers of tourism, like Professor Jafari. He will talk about the competition, sustainable tourism, including small entrepreneurship and community-based tourism. Basically, all our panelists, they don't need any introduction. They are well known globally. And Professor Uysal has publications not only about tourism industry in general, but also he has been doing consulting and guiding many tourism organizations, businesses, including government in Turkey as well. So we look forward to learning from him. Finally, Professor Musa Pınar, he is an expert in branding, destination marketing. He's well known, and for the past 3 years, we have been working together. He's also originally from Bodrum, so he knows the tourism industry, how Bodrum has grown, developed over the years. So I stop here, and I would like to, basically, we will have 3 rounds. First, we will talk about past and current issues. And then the next round, we will talk about future development. And finally, we will answer some questions and have general discussions. Professor Ibrahim Birkan, thanks for joining. I know you are in Cappadocia. You could have done so many more interesting things than joining our webinar, but you were kind enough to change your schedule and join us. We would like to hear from you about the infrastructure, investment, and product development for the past 50 years in 7 minutes. I know this is almost impossible, but knowing your skill set and experience, you can explain everything in 7 minutes. Thank you. We can't hear you. We need to unmute you. Okay. Ibrahim Hocam, 1 second. Please unmute yourself. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much for your nice words. I am honored to be with you on this channel. Yes, as you said, I'm in Cappadocia. Normally speaking, I am in Ankara, but I am here for a long weekend vacation with my friends from the United States. So I am very happy to be with you. I would like to say a few things about the current position and a little bit past of Turkey's tourism, because without knowing the past, we cannot talk about the future. So with your permission, I would have to say that, as Mr. Jafar Jafari said, Turkey is a highly recognized tourism country in the world, and Turkey has a very strong competitive advantage in tourism globally. And Turkey is really capitalizing on this advantage. I am happy to see this because now number 1 industry in Turkey is tourism, and it is really with a very high multiplier effect, affecting life of everybody and economy of Turkey. And Turkey, in international ranking, is taking 5th and 6th place in terms of volume and in terms of value. And if we look at the growth rate of tourism, in last 10 years in the world, annual growth rate, excluding the COVID period, Turkish development rate is around 10% annually, and the world average is around 4.2%. So it is really growing very rapidly, and we are expecting to have 60 million tourists and $60 billion revenue from tourism this year, which is quite significant. And I'm not going to tell more about current situation and past situation. Yes, if tourism develops with a very fast rate, then of course you get problems simultaneously. We have many problems developing, and infrastructure problems are coming along with these problems. And if you look at the infrastructure position of Turkey, I will have to tell you something to surprise you. It is, in many areas, it's overbuilt because the government, the current present government has been managing Turkey for the last 23 years, and they have developed a system, BOT, Build, Operate, Transfer, and it means many infrastructure investments, dams, energy power plants, airports, highways, you name it, are given to private industry, and they are doing it, and the government claims that they don't spend a penny, which is not true, because we will pay for next 30 years. But they are worried about this year. So this is very interesting to know, I think, for many of you. But the government says that we are not paying any money from the budget, but it is guaranteed, government guaranteed projects, and it is, most of these investments are done before previous proper feasibility studies. So they are really happy to see the product. Airports we don't use, highways we don't utilize, many of them. And in tourism industry, we need all these infrastructures, but Turkish people as taxpayers, we will have to pay to finance this highly expensive financial structure for next 30 years. I think it was interesting to comment on this issue. I know we discuss it a lot in Turkey, but this is a very upsetting situation here. But in general, I will have to say that Turkey doesn't have infrastructural problems.
I didn't understand that.
But in my opinion, we will have a serious water shortage problem in next decade. This is because of global warming, and many people think that Turkey is among rich countries in terms of water supplies and capacity, but this is not true. If you calculate the per person water calculation in Turkey, considering 85 million population, plus 15 million immigrants, and also 60 million tourists coming to Turkey, and they are spending 400 liters of water every day, and their water footprints with all-inclusive system is also very high. It is, in my calculation, equivalent of at least 10 million inhabitants in Turkey. So if you put all these figures into calculation and look at the situation, Turkey is among the poor countries in terms of water supplies, and this is not going to get better. So it's going to affect tourism industry, and we need to do certain things, not only by government, by also tourism establishments to provide our own water, because I can see this problem is coming. And construction-wise, highways, airports, railroads, I think I will have to admit we are in good shape, but financially speaking, we will have to pay for all these investments in next 30 years. I don't know if I have consumed my 8 minutes, 7 minutes.
Excellent, excellent. How would you, Professor Ibrahim Birkan Hocam, how would you describe the current product in 2 minutes, what we are offering?
Well, basically, we are offering sea, sun, sand, 3 S's. But I will have to tell you, sea, sun, sand is still the biggest travel motivation for Europeans in Mediterranean region. I hate to use this terminology, alternative tourism. I think it's a very sharp termination. Instead of using that terminology, I prefer to use complementing industry. In another, it is like used in the medicine industry. We can do 3 S's at the same time along with other kinds of soft tourism. It doesn't mean that we have to give up on sea, sun, sand, because it is still the biggest motivation of people to travel, especially for European people who travel to Turkey. They prefer to have summer vacations in Turkey. So we are very good in there. But on the other hand, we are planning to do tourism in 12 months. So what Turkey is doing lately, they are working, Ministry of Culture and Tourism in Turkey is a combined institution. So culture and tourism are together. And if we look at the budget of this ministry, 80% of it's spent for culture, only 20% is spent for tourism. It's okay, but culture and tourism works together very well. And now Turkey is a very famous place for archaeological sites. And archaeological site studies have been increased. Government spent extra, allocate a big chunk of budget to do archaeological studies further in 12 months in Turkey. So they are expecting in next 6 years, the new items they will discover in archaeology is going to be equivalent of what has been discovered in last 60 years. So it is going to make Turkey more attractive. Also, people who travel Turkey with 3 S's, they claim that those people don't get out of their resorts and don't spend much money outside. We can argue that, but we will give them an opportunity to go out and visit these sites, and especially at night. Now, nighttime museum visiting is getting very famous in Turkey. They are opening museums to function not only daytime, but also nighttime with lighting and light shows. And it is creating extra additional activity for people who are staying in the hotel to spend their evening and to spend more money in tourism and to get more information about Turkey.
Yes. Thank you. What you are saying is over the years, Turkey has invested in infrastructure, and Turkey has excellent all-inclusive resorts. And building on these 3 S, we have cultural tourism, we have historical tourism, and also based on my observation, we are building on also city tourism. Istanbul itself is a major destination for culture and shopping, and also now medical tourism is huge in Turkey. All right, thank you.
I can add one more small thing.
Yes.
Because of global warming, we have many disadvantages, but we have some advantages too. Seasons are getting longer. So the regions, western part and southern part of Turkey, the resorts will have a longer season. On the other hand, we have a Black Sea region in Turkey, which is not very feasible for tourism investments because the season is very short. But now, because of global warming, Black Sea is getting Mediterranean Sea. So in other words, it is getting more attractive for investors to invest resorts on Black Sea coast. So it is going to create other opportunities for tourism investors in Turkey to invest in that part of Turkey. And this is because of global warming, I would say, but there are many disadvantages and there are some advantages also we will have to mention here.
Excellent. What we know is each region of Turkey attracts travelers, tourists from different regions. Europeans may be visiting south of Turkey, Antalya, Bodrum area, and then tourists from Middle East, they go to Black Sea region, enjoy the greenery and cold, nice weather. Excellent, thank you very much. Professor Ebru Günlü, it's your turn. A brief history of hospitality and tourism education in Turkey, in Türkiye. It is your turn.
Thank you so much, Professor. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. I would like to start by expressing my heartfelt gratitude for the invitation to participate in this webinar today, because it's a privilege for me to be among those valuable and esteemed panelists and to engage in that kind of a dialogue about the hospitality and tourism education in Turkey. This is a topic that I'm deeply passionate about. As it's all stated by Jafar, Fevzi, and also Ibrahim, Turkey is uniquely positioned in the global tourism landscape. And this nation is bridging Europe and Asia together. So it is offering a wealth of traditions and narratives so that this is providing invaluable content for the academic studies as well. Our educational institutions nowadays are leveraging this tapestry and creating some programs, but which is not only imparting knowledge, but also engaging students with the authentic local practices. Moreover, of course, Turkey's hospitality and tourism sector is one of the largest and fastest growing industries. And this growth is it is translating into a demand for the skilled professionals, and it is enhancing the relevance of our educational programs. And as Fevzi told us, I'm going to highlight some important data from high schools to the universities, because high schools are also the sources for the universities nowadays. And it is essential to consider those high schools and the foundational role of the vocational high schools, especially in preparing future professionals. In Turkey, there are, as far as I'm not wrong, there are approximately 1,400 vocational high schools, which have a significant portion which is focusing on specifically tourism and hospitality programs. So those schools are as we assume them, are serving as the entry points for the students who are eager to explore their careers in this vibrant and the essential sector of our economy in Turkey. And the societal perception, this is very important because this career choice has experienced a notable evolution in the recent years. It is traditionally viewed by some of the less prestigious paths. My mom is one of them. It has a growing recognition of the industry's significance to Turkey's economy and cultural exchange nowadays. With millions of tourists who are coming to our country each year, the importance of the skilled professionals who are delivering this exceptional service that Turkey is really very good at and experiences, it is becoming increasingly evident nowadays. And consequently, careers in tourism and hospitality are now seen as respectable options, as different from past. When we think about the past, it is because the industry continues to expand and innovate in Turkey day by day and year by year. There are, of course, some threats that we are facing through, but it's a threat that we are facing globally. The wars and the cultural and the climate, that those are all giving some signals. And this shift in perception is also reflected the interest of the teenagers here in our country, across the country. And many young people are increasingly drawn to the prospect of working in tourism and hospitality. And this interest is fueled by several reasons. Why? Because there is an exposure to travel and culinary experiences through the social media and also television, as well as the dynamic career opportunities, which includes some positions in hotel management, in event management, in planning, policy, culinary arts, and so on. And those vocational high schools are playing a critical role in this enthusiasm, and they are providing some hands-on training and practical experiences. And this is capturing our students' imagination. So this is very important for us. So many of the teenagers are now seeing it not just as a job, but they want to fulfill their careers so that it is going to lead them to the exciting opportunities, both domestically and international, that we are also examining right now. So from vocational high schools to universities, this enthusiasm is so important. And now the students in Turkey have access to the reputable universities where they can immerse themselves in practical experiences. And this is by internships. Sometimes they are integrating this theoretical knowledge with real world applications by getting acquaintance with the professionals from the sector as well. And in the recent years, we have an increasing number of tourism hospitality, both undergraduate, graduate programs, and postgraduate also. And many universities have established some dedicated facilities, such as the kitchens for the gastronomy and culinary arts, some laboratories for the simulations for technological applications, and they are focusing on tourism studies in this way. And this expansion is a response to the growing demand of the skilled professionals in this sector. And this is a vital, reality for our economy, because we need those professionals in the sector in order to foster our economy. And now the programs are emphasizing various aspects of the industry, from hotel management to event management, as I have just stated before. And as of my last update, if I'm not wrong again, Turkey has a significant number of universities and institutions which are offering tourism and hospitality programs. The specific number is above 70 universities now, which are just offering those degrees related to tourism and hospitality management. And as far as I know, it is more than 75 universities in Turkey which are offering some programs in gastronomy and culinary arts, not only in public, but also in the private universities as well. And this number is increasing because tourism is continuing to be a significant area in our country. And sometimes this number, which is growing in terms of universities, can be regarded as a strength and sometimes as a weakness. This is how we are regarding the issues. So it has two folds that we need to discuss about. And what are those tourism and hospitality programs are offering to the teenagers or to the young adults? Just imagine a campus where the students from diverse backgrounds, because this is the reality, as you know, of the tourism education. We have lots of different students from different backgrounds. So they are united by a passion for travel and tourism. So they are not just learning the industry, but they are immersing themselves as in Turkey's cultural heritage. So classes often include some modules about the cultural management. Sometimes students are encouraged to examine various tourism markets, because we know that they need to learn how to cater to the diverse expectations of the international travelers. So this consumer behavior is so important. So those tourism and hospitality programs are touching those issues as well. And of course, as Ibrahim Birkan just stated, Turkish government is recognizing tourism as a vital pillar of our economy. So it means that they are trying to provide some support through the infrastructure improvements and policy initiatives. And this backing, of course, is creating a lively environment for the students to get engaged into those interns and those industries, challenges and opportunities, so that they can know better the industry. And on the other hand, sustainability is another topic that we are all the academicians and the students are usually interested in, because we are trying to prioritize the eco-friendly practices. And those courses are being designed to teach students about the sustainable and responsible tourism that we need to be aware of. So this is another important issue that the universities are trying to put into their curriculum about those subjects and the topics as well. And of course, technology is another important factor that the programs are getting it into consideration. So students are trying to get integrate with the technology, and this technology is also integrated into the curriculum. So it is fostering their creativity and their innovation, and it is preparing students to meet the realities of the sector nowadays. And experiential learning is also the other issue, which is also accompanied by the networking with the other institutions, with the other strong industry partners. So we are trying to offer our students nowadays the opportunities to connect with the professionals and attend some of the career fairs, so that they can get into connect with different perspectives and they can know each other before their graduation. And the last one is the internal
Yes.
and international accreditation, like AACSB and so on. So this is also adding some credibility to our programs that we are really giving importance to, because as I have told you earlier, that there are lots of universities which are offering some programs, over 70, but they are not at the same level. So this accreditation is trying to help to keep the quality of the, let's say, programs at a standard level. So this is also another important issue from the current state of the universities. I don't know whether I should go on or...
Thank you. Ebru, thank you very much. In a nutshell, Turkey offers a hospitality and tourism education, starting from vocational high schools, 2-year associate degrees, 4-year degrees in tourism, in tour guiding, in hospitality management, but especially in recent years, gastronomy and culinary arts is in demand. And then so many master's programs and at least over 10 PhD programs offered by universities in Turkey. What I know, attrition is also very high when they train students. Some of them don't stay in the hospitality industry. They go to other industries, especially after COVID. But also what we know, even businesses, hotels and travel agents, tourism businesses in Turkey, they have their own training programs and they focus more on training compared to earlier years. One last comment about hospitality and tourism education in Turkey. Over the years now, Turkey exports talent to other countries. I have seen so many frontline employees, supervisors, and managers, hotel managers working in other countries. They were educated and trained and worked in Turkey. Now they work in other countries. And also Turkey has exported some good academics as well over the years. That's another, I think, hospitality and tourism education. Thank you, Ebru.
Thank you.
Muzo Hocam, Professor Uysal, it's your turn. Tell us about Turkey's competition, sustainable tourism, including entrepreneurship and community-based tourism. It's a lot to speak in 7 minutes, but you are very competent to summarize these things. Thank you.
Thank you, Febzi. You put pressure on me. I guess anytime we hear like competitiveness, competition, sustainability, and I could also add, well-being or quality of life of residents or providers of tourism goods and services, we all get excited, right? It's huge. But just let me echo what has been already mentioned by our panelists, including Professor Jafar Jafari. Tourism is big in Turkey. Tourism grows fast in Turkey. Tourism the industry has good infrastructure in place. Just before I get into some of this and the connection, maybe if I may take 1 minute to answer Professor Jafari's earlier questions about the past. Not that I am an expert in that area, but one of the maybe turning points for the Turkish tourism industry probably took place in the 80s. I think there was a lot of focus on privatization and a big push for creating, let's say, infrastructure for possible tourism investors in the country. So I guess they had different pilot places, and then they rented out, I would say, places for a long time to private entities to kind of get the ball running, right? I think that push took place in the 80s, accelerated maybe in the 90s. And Turkey, being a maybe secular country, maybe didn't face the kind of issues some of those 58 Muslim countries may have, other than, I would say, Malaysia, which also had a pretty successful tourism sector over the years. I think we had maybe less strains in terms of our creativity and just pushing for the development of tourism infrastructure and therefore the marketing strategies over the years. It has always been part of our growth strategic plans at the state level. So, and there was so much investment upfront in this business. Also in our educational system, some of us who are sitting here didn't even go to, let's say, vocational school, probably had classes even in high school, right, on about tourism. So I think we're exposed to the concept and ideas way early on in our education system, because given that Turkey, has several, let's say, or rich biodiversity and, ranging from Mediterranean coast to mountain ranges in the Black Sea. At the same time, let's say places like the Central Anatolia, Cappadocia. Anyway, I guess the system allowed us to get to know the country and its richness and its potential, to become a destination. Maybe it was ingrained our education system and mentality. That being said, going back to Professor Okumusho's question, so of course, when you have a huge, growing, healthy business, then that prosperity also comes with several other challenges on the path to sustainability. So especially given our country's unique geography, rich cultural heritage, and growing visitor numbers. So I would touch on maybe three, current challenges that Turkey is facing, I would say, on the path to sustainability. I think this was alluded to by Professor Birkan as well. I don't like to use the term over tourism. I always say like over demand. I think managing probably over demand or over tourism and infrastructure strain and capacity management would be one category of major challenges Turkey will face in the future, even today, because Turkish tourism is highly concentrated in certain places. We know this in the Turkish Riviera. If you think about Izmir all the way to Antalya, or you can even go north of Izmir, I think most of our tourism activities take place in coastal areas. These are areas that are fragile, right? It's natural, this concentrated over tourism, even particularly in cities like Istanbul, the Cappadocia region, coastal areas. So the country risks over demand or concentration or over tourism. Therefore, this kind of growth, concentrated visitation patterns certainly put strain on infrastructure. It's strained infrastructure. There is no question. And this could also lead to typically, congestions, and at the same time, maybe damage natural and historical sites. And we see this thing in certain places in Turkey. So high volume of visitors while preserving the quality of tourist experiences and also the well-being of locals should be a major challenge and should be a major concern. So I think maybe later on we will touch on some of those possible solution pathways, but I can at least just point out one little thing. We've got to develop policies and perhaps intervention strategies that will promote, as mentioned, off-season tourism, meaning we need to diversify tourist destinations to lesser known areas, because the landscape of Anatolia is so rich that it's prime for further development, as Ibrahim mentioned, even new archaeological sites that have global presence, importance, and I think those places have to be accessible and reachable somehow. So therefore, in order to maintain, let's say, the sustainability of tourism development, the concentration of tourism has to be shifted to lesser known places of Turkey, namely, I would say, the Anatolia. But in order to make that happen, even if we have good infrastructure, road-wise, even trains between, let's say, major cities, just to give you an example, if you want to drive from Izmir to Pamukkale, it may take almost 3 hours. So I really think that for the Anatolia region, we've got to have a faster, let's say, network system of maybe railroads that will connect some of those, let's say, places and towns that are, ready to be further explored and developed, so that tourists can really easily get away from the coastal areas of Turkey to inland. So I think in terms of sustainability or making tourism, let's say, more meaningful for some visitors, and then this will be one of the areas where we can focus on capacity management issues. And I think in big cities, knowing what we're doing in Istanbul, or recently I've been part of a group and discussing some of the issues, you cannot have some of these major attractions visited by visitors freely. So somehow there has to be a mechanism by which we can monitor use level of these attractions, because there is so much concentrated demand. So there are ways of reducing this kind of strain on maybe certain attractions. So meaning we have to develop policies that will really maybe encourage, let's say, an adaptive, proactive management strategy to ensure that Turkey remains a top destination for travelers from around the world, while maintaining, let's say, the quality of different stakeholders in big cities like Istanbul, Izmir, Muğla, where we have a lot of touristic activities are happening. Now, I'm also thinking about
you are muted somehow. I don't know what happened, Professor Uysal.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sorry.
Yeah. So I was just thinking, let's say, the second part of the question, I know it's just so loaded, but we're talking about competition. I think you look at, so I would also say maybe a couple of things about it. I think Turkey as a destination has to differentiate through authentic and sustainable experiences. For example, in today's world, we all know this, more travelers seek authentic, sustainable, more immersive, unique experiences. So Turkey needs to differentiate itself from competing destinations in the Mediterranean region. Maybe they may have complementary product offerings, let's say, teaming up with a country like Greece, but at the same time, when you think about, let's say, countries like Greece, Italy, Croatia, they offer similar and cultural coastal attractions. Going back to Ibrahim's the classic tourism product, I think we have to maintain that market, maybe increase it, but at the same time, open up new areas that will focus on authentic experiences in the central Anatolia, the kind of, places we talk about, and plus gastronomy. I think even if we have a shorter tourism season in the Black Sea region, there are different types and forms of tourism activities that can really thrive in the Black Sea region. So I think our focus, in terms of maintaining our competitiveness, we have to also introduce new portfolio of tourism product offerings, whether new archaeological sites, new places in the Black Sea region, connecting all the gastronomic or I would say religion, places in central Anatolia. They have to be all accessible and reachable. So, and then somehow I know the Minister of Culture and Tourism has all this in its plan in the future. And I think there has to be a little more support in terms of making this happen, so that, we don't have this concentrated tourism places where there is so much pressure on residents, and there's so much pressure on, let's say, use of resources. I think that will really create more problems. And Ibrahim mentioned this thing. Fresh water is a major, huge issue that Turkey is going to face in those concentrated areas, no question. Of course, we also need to talk about some other those external, forces like political instability, economic fluctuations, global crisis, etc., etc. So we have to diversify our, as I said, tourism, right? Bringing new, unique experiences, okay, and then so that Turkey should really just position itself in a place where it is not just serving for European countries or Middle East countries only, but also exploring the potential from Latin America, because giving our central location, the power of Istanbul airport at this time. So we have really some work ahead of us to do and then make tourism as a global force as it has been, but at the same time offering products that are so unique to the Anatolian culture, to the coastal regions, also to the Black region. In order to do or have this kind of sustainable, let's say, tourism efforts, we have to make sure that we take care of the participation of local communities and small businesses, because sustainability thrives when we really take care of local communities and think about their well-being. Therefore, in my mind, I guess this concept of sustainability has to be combined with the well-being of providers, locals, and at the same time, maintain our competitiveness. And this three key construct or concept have to work together in an integrated way for Turkey's tourism to expand, to grow in a healthy way. At the same time, the structure of these three, let's say, pillars have to be supported by good, smart technological devices, options to support the growth.
Professor Uysal, thank you very much. We appreciate all the comments. Professor Musa Pınar, it's your turn. From your perspective, branding, destination marketing, including new trends and market opportunities for Turkey.
Thank you, Fevzi Okumuş. Greetings from Chicago. I'm next to Chicago. I consider myself from Chicago. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. And I'm honored to be a part of this panel, especially the distinguished people here. I think I have a little challenging job in a way, that branding. But I always like to start with what the brand is. I think we're gonna really first walk, we can run then. Brand is a name, identity. All of us have a name, so we are potential brands. Now, the question is, how do we differentiate ourselves from other brands, other destinations? So differentiation is the name of the game when you are becoming a brand. Of course, when you have a name, you start adding positive or negative things. We call that brand associations. If you deliver a good experience, you add positive things. If you give a negative experience, you add negative things. As Akar says, brand is set of positive liabilities and assets and liabilities. So we have a lot of assets and I think looking at, and why do you want to be a brand? I mean, brand has a benefits for consumers and companies or destinations. For customers, makes decision easy. I want to go to Istanbul. Well, I know enough about that. So Istanbul tells a lot. Or want to go to New York City. So it allows us to make easy decision, and also allows us to reduce the risk, because we human beings like to minimize the effort, minimize the risk. So brand name allows that when you are a well-known brand. To have that definition. Now, looking at Turkey, I think we have done a great job of improving our brand name or brand life cycle, so to speak, in a way that in branding we call that point of parity, point of difference. I think Turkey has done a great job of being in the category of the tourist destinations. We call it point of parity. You got to get in the category to be selected. So Turkey has done a great job last 30, 40 years that they started tourism industry. I think we have managed to be in the category. Now, getting in the category doesn't mean you've selected. So point of parity in the tourism for Turkey, I think we have done a great job of being in the category. Now, question is, how do we select it? When the potential tourists think about 3 to 5 destinations to visit, how do we stand out? How do we get selected? So this is a challenge that I think Turkey will be facing. Of course, having a tourism in Turkey is essential, given that we have an incredible historical, cultural, the assets that other countries don't have, because the branding is built on the concepts or assets that you have a competitive advantage. So we have that. Now, I also like to mention three things when you are building a brand. One is you got to be different. You have to be relevant to target market's needs and needs and wants. And three, you got to be attainable. You have to have those three things. If you are not different, relevant, and also attainable, you are a commodity. You know that when you're a commodity, people pay the lowest price. So we have to have three things in order to create that. For relevance, I think my favorite theory that I use in my MBA classes is job dividend theory. What kind of job tourists are looking for when they travel to Turkey, or any destination? What is their main thing they are looking for? Well, visit. Visit is a general idea. I think we're going to find out what specific things Turkey can offer that others offer that tourists are looking for to be done. Clayton Christensen's famous article, Job Dividend Theory, he has a book, Competing Against Luck. I think we really have to find out what are specific things tourists are looking for that we can deliver better than anybody else. Of course, the infrastructure and education, Ebru Hocam and Ibrahim Bikan talked about. You got to have those fundamental things to offer a tourist, which is what? Getting you into the category. Now, the other thing in the destination branding that I like to mention is there are three things when you are creating a brand. One is external branding or marketing and branding. You are advertising what you can do. What are the things that Turkey can offer? Well, this is external branding, but it doesn't mean you are a brand. Brands are created, we know that, with experience. So we're going to deliver exceptional experience. The tourists come to Turkey, that is a wow. We call that wow experience factor. But to do so, which is the external marketing or branding, interactive marketing branding experience, but you're going to have an internal branding. Recently, I have seen a number of articles in a tourism area looking at internal branding. Now, internal branding is, do you have the infrastructure and people? Ebru mentioned the education, that skilled people to deliver the experience. Remember, tourism is a service industry. Every point, we have a touch point, every opportunity. So every opportunity, you got to deliver the best experience. So internal branding, the entire country and destination internalizes, understands the brand promise so that everybody can deliver as a wow experience. If we don't have that, now you got a problem, because brands are as strong as the weakest experience. We have to understand that, and we call that brand ecosystem. In the ecosystem, everything triggers each other, so we have to really understand that. So the experiential branding, experiences create the branding, and recently most of articles talk about experiential branding. Experience, we're going to deliver. So in that regard, also the two concepts that I use in my MBA classes, Chang-Chi principle, expected, unexpected. Chang-Chi principle says, well, we can apply to tourism. What's expected? Well, come to Istanbul, we expect certain things. But expected ones will put in the category. It is unexpected. Qi, or Yang Ying principle, also known that. Do we deliver unexpected experience when they come to Istanbul, Bodrum, Cappadocia? You gotta go beyond the expected. So unexpected experiences are the ones create the brand. Of course, when you are creating a brand, you gotta be in the mind share. I think Turkey has done a great job of being as a destination to be considerate. We have a brand share, mind share. I think the experience is creating a heart share, emotional connection. There are people who say, wow, I love Bodrum, I love Turkey, I love Cappadocia. It was a great experience. If you don't have that, you will not be able to create the brand unique. Of course, that leads to brand equity, one concept I want to mention last. Brand equity is what? Differential effect of the marketing of the destination creates in the consumers when you are being selected. Or I could call that set of assets and liabilities. If we have a lot of assets and no liabilities, you are a great brand. So what can destination do to create that? Of course, brand equity has, everybody knows, 4 dimensions: awareness, mind share, pursuit quality, loyalty, and brand associations. I think the adding to Muzo's points, Turkey has to offer more things. I think Ebru explained that education really preparing students not only to work, but also as a career there. And Birkan mentioned all the infrastructure delivered that. So when you are delivering experience, you have the infrastructure, human experiences there. Now it's time to differentiate different areas. I think Turkey has a unique opportunities to offer unique experiences for different types of experiences that can be provided. So these are the things that I will mention next section: nation branding versus the destination branding, how they are being connected. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Musa Hocam. Excellent comments. For the sake of time, from each of you, let's start, Musa Hocam, with you. And you have 2 minutes. And in terms of branding, destination marketing, new trends, and opportunities for future, I need 3 recommendations in 2 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, like we need to prescribe what Turkey should do in these areas. 3 specific recommendations.
Thank you. I think I want to first connect the nation brand and destination branding. Nation brand is the nation's the brand power serves as an umbrella brand or master brand, and our tourism is a sub brand contribute to that. But nations should have a pulling power for the tourists. When they think of, let's say, Turkey, they say, wow, it's a destination I can go. I feel comfortable. However, or if you think of Japan as a destination, you can think that. But other different tourism activities serve as a sub-brand. They have to work together, okay? Number 2, the internal branding, I say, should be thought about by every destination, every town. Because when they come there, hotels are delivering. I think we have that. Ebru indicated education, people are educated skill. But how about the outside the hotel? What kind of experience do they have? I had a study many years ago. The tourists left the hotel, the satisfaction went down. So I think towns have to understand how to create the experience in the town for the tourists that say, wow, I'm glad I got out the hotel. Now I have experience, okay? And then the other thing is that work on a differentiation. I think Turkey has an incredible historical the opportunities that others don't have. Remember, brands are built on competitive on the concepts and the assets that the brand has a competitive advantage, cannot be duplicated. Nobody can duplicate Cappadocia where Ibrahim Birkan is visiting. There's only one Cappadocia, okay? And so we have to work on that and expanding the tourism in the non-areas and the concentrated areas so that we can have a tourism entire area and contribute to Turkish tourism, Turkey tourism brand. Thank you.
Thank you. You are wonderful. Muzo Hocam, you have 2 minutes, 3 specific recommendations in relation to competition, sustainable development, community-based tourism.
Okay.
My apologies, I'm very strict.
Thank you. I'm also thinking about, let's say, if I can just kind of sum what I was trying to convey here. Turkey's tourism industry should first increase, of course, its market share and sustain its appeal and also enhance the well-being of residents. Given this, I can make maybe 3 recommendations that may be future-oriented. But the first thing, again, as I alluded to this during our first round, we need to really, Turkey has to diversify tourism offerings with emphasis on sustainable and cultural tourism, meaning Turkey should prioritize promoting lesser-known destination and experiences, such as the Anatolian inland. This has tremendous potential. Same thing, the Black Sea, region, the historical Silk Road, the new archaeological sites. I think the goal has to be to kind of push tourism activities away from coastal areas to inland. That's one area, right? So this is really important for us. So by doing so, in a way, I'm also thinking that you're bringing more rural areas, communities to become part of the production and consumption of the tourism ecosystem, so that it will somehow improve the well-being of, individuals and communities in central Anatolia, because, this will really be good for the future of tourism. That's one area. The other thing would be, I think, however you look at it, because in today's world, Türkiye can leverage digital tools to improve visitor experiences and management. How do you create a system where you can monitor use levels over time? This is essential. This got to be supported by, I would say, technological innovation and tools, right? So I think especially in major cities where you have high level of tourist concentration, cities like Istanbul, Antalya region, even Muğla or Izmir, etc. That will be my second suggestion. We have to develop a mechanism by which we can monitor use level and disperse demand into less visited areas. Lastly, maybe I would say that we have to establish a framework. I think this is important. You are talking about small entrepreneurs, etc., or community-based tourism initiatives. I guess this will probably require, as Turkey has done, maybe some financial incentives, small funds or credits, etc. But as we push the tourism, concentrated tourism from urban areas into inland, we've got to also create mechanism where, small business entrepreneurs or investors can be part of this new creation of destinations and places. But lastly, all that has to be well integrated. I know we have good enough infrastructure in Turkey, but for some of these places to be connected, probably we need to invest a bit more into regional rail system in Anatolia to make these places connected and reachable. Thank you.
Thank you. Excellent. Ebru Hocam, it's your turn in terms of education, hospitality and tourism education in Turkey. 3 recommendations in 2 minutes, please.
Okay, thank you. In the first round, I have focused on the strengths usually, but of course we have lots of weaknesses. I have a long list, but I'm going to now count only the first 3. The first one is that our programs are offering courses usually in Turkish. So we have a look at all the faculties. We need to keep English as a common language. So we need to offer the programs in English, because those students who are going to get graduated will be serving in foreign language. So this is essential. The first one is that. And the second one is that we are always emphasizing the importance of the technological expertise. But on the other hand, while we are talking about the service industry, we need to emphasize the importance of the soft skills. And this is a weakness, because we have to foster this essential interpersonal skills, which are very effective in the hospitality management. That's why we have to focus on communication. We have to focus on teamwork and leadership, so that those are going to empower our students when they are going to get graduated. So soft skills should be encouraged, and they need to be supported and improved in the universities. And the last one is that we are always talking about professional expertise, but once we have a look at the academicians, they are lacking this professional expertise. So this is other thing. In my opinion, education should not stop at a theory if we are talking about tourism. So in this era, the hands-on experiences are the prerequisites. So if you have a look at the MBA programs or the master programs in Europe and United States, which you know better than me, people are getting some experience in sector, and then they are getting their degrees on master programs. But here, as soon as they get graduated from the universities, they jump into master, but they do not have any kind of professional experience. So this is lacking in Turkey. That's why we need to attract the industry professionals as well. And the academicians, if they are lacking expertise, they need to do internship as the students do. Thank you so much. Those are three highlights from my recommendation.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Professor Ibrahim Birkan, hocam, you need to unmute yourself, and you have 2 minutes, and we need 3 specific recommendations for infrastructure investment and product development in Turkey for future, please. Okay, 4 is fine, but you are, please unmute yourself.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
You asked for 3, but I will give you 4. Last time I used less time, so I'm going to take a little bit extra this term. Okay, sure. Turkey has 2.2 million beds right now, which is a lot. And it sounds stupid to say for me that we need more beds. Yes, we need more beds. Why? Because with linear thinking, 55% annual occupancy rate and 2.2 million beds is enough. But it doesn't work that way. When we look at the calculation, in year 2028, in 5 years, we are targeting 100 million visitors and $100 billion in tourism revenue, which is a soft target in my opinion. Because if we increase every year 7%, which is less than our last 10 years accomplishment, we are easily going to meet this target. But then we need more beds because most of the visitors come during summertime. So in order to meet that demand, yes, we need to build more beds, and no more incentives are issued by the Turkish government for hotel investors, but still people doing investment in hotel business because they found it is feasible, which is one thing we have to put it here. And on the other hand, construction of hotels in Turkey, since I work in industry, I know, is much cheaper than construction of hotels in competitive countries. Construction of 1 square meter of 5-star hotel is around $1,500 in Turkey, but it is at least twice more in European countries. So if a hotel in London, 400-room hotel, 400-room hotel in Turkey, if we compare, of course they can sell, if we are selling rooms for $200, they can sell for $400. But when you look at the return on investment, which one is producing much higher GOP is the ones in Turkey, because it costs less, because construction business, investors in the hotel business, most of them are coming from construction business, and they are building their own hotels and catching a competitive advantage. Second, Turkish Airlines became a world leader. It's incredible. They are flying to 330 destinations directly from Istanbul and Turkey, and this makes all those destinations they are flying to potential markets for Turkey, and Turkey is really capitalizing on that. For instance, when I was a student, nobody was flying from Turkey to America, but now they are flying to how many destinations in the United States, back to back every day, and they are doing profitable business in terms of airline business. So when you look at the American tourists coming to Turkey, it is in 5 years' time, it is 5 times more. So it is developing, and this is also Turkish Airlines can develop business combined with Greece. Now we are doing some business with Greek islands, but I think Istanbul Airport has a great potential to bring people from all over the world to that region and to distribute them from there to Egypt, Greek islands and other parts of Greece. So this is a big potential. Another thing I would like to mention, Turkey developed TGL, a government, half governmental agency, tourism development and promotion agency, and it is, I was involved in preparation of that institution, foundation is done by both government and private industry. So every year we get around 7-8 billion TL money there to be used for promotion of tourism, and they are doing it very successfully. So it will continue this way, and Turkey is very heavily advertising in other countries, in other touristic areas, and it will continue. Another thing I would like to say, another thing, archaeological sites. Now there are 144 excavation sites 12 months. For 12 months, the studies and physical work is going on. It used to be much less than this, and it used to be only for 3 months. Now, with the combined Ministry of Culture and Tourism, they are doing it for 12 months. Get ready for new foundation-shaking discoveries like Göbekli Tepe. 14,000 people, 14,000 years ago, what was done in the world? There are new Göbekli Tepes have been discovered, and they are going to be prepared as new products, and this is going to shake the religious people from their foundation, because where all the three religions coming from the same thing written on the walls, and they will see it from there, and it is going to be quite interesting to see. And Turkey will attract more people to come, not only in summer months, but also in other months. I am not, under the normal conditions, expecting very good results from tourism industry in Turkey. But then, of course, in our geography, in our region, there are many unpleasant things going on. The war between Israel and Iran, unfortunately, and what's happening in Iraq and in Ukraine, which is northern Russia, northern neighbors of Turkey, and Turkey is not in good terms with Greece. And with this neighborhood, still Turkey is doing a very fantastic tourism, and Turkey learned how to deal with crisis. This is also another big issue. Maybe you can discuss in next panels, crisis and tourism and how to manage it. And I think with this accumulated knowledge and with the good product and the good management of tourism industry, the future of the tourism will be very bright in Turkey.
All right, thank you very much. If we were to summarize, we have some questions we will answer. I like to summarize several things. Turkey globally is ranked 5th in terms of number of tourists. According to the statistics, about 49 million tourists visited Turkey in 2023, and about $54 billion they generated. Among the top 7, top 6, top 5 is changing, and it's growing fast over the past 40, the industry has grown really fast. The recommendations, issues, transportation is key, infrastructure is key. Professor Ibrahim Birkan mentioned about Turkish Airlines. We have observed that how powerful this brand, I hear a lot of positive comments. And also the airport in Istanbul, it's another thing, people when they go to the airport in Istanbul, they are very impressed about its size and quality and everything. It's a global brand. And fast trains in Turkey, very, very important, from Istanbul, Ankara, from Bodrum, Antalya. If you can reach in 2-3 hours to the airport, to other, like a train from Bodrum to Cappadocia, a train from Antalya to Cappadocia will make a huge difference, or fast train from Istanbul to Cappadocia. Some examples. We need sustainability, as mentioned by Professor Uysal, in every areas, and also fresh water, clean water. Technology, smart tourism, as Professor Musa Pınar hocam mentioned, differentiation branding. We have a global brand, Türkiye, and then Istanbul is a brand, Bodrum, Antalya, Alanya, so many sub-brands, but they are all very powerful, including Cappadocia. And safe and clean destination in every area, and experience management in many ways. When we travel, we have family members, and we need to cater all different generations, especially Turkey should focus on Gen Z and Gen Alpha, very huge. We didn't have enough time to discuss different generations, what Turkey can offer these young generations, Gen Z and Gen Alpha. And of course, as mentioned by Professor Ebru Günlü, is the talent management, how we can better prepare, train and educate Turkish people, youth, young, to serve and work in the hospitality and tourism industry. We have some questions, and I will read these questions, and our panelists can volunteer. There is one from it says, as I mentioned, foreign tourists is about 55 million and the income is about 55 billion. It means a single tourist, foreign tourist spends $100,000. This is relatively low for a 1-week holiday or for their duration. What can we do? What should be done to increase this amount? Rather than Turkey is a cheap destination, how we can make it a more, let's say, better destination and tourists spend more money? Who would like to answer this question?
Maybe I can answer.
Okay, yes, hocam, buyur.
Actually, that figure is misleading because if the way we calculate, especially for Turkey, 55 million, 52, when you divide it is $1,000 or less. We have to look at the per night spent at the accommodation industry. Because in Turkey, we have a different structure of tourism industry. When we look at the tourism amount of 55 million people, some of them are daily tourists coming from Iran just for shopping and for 1 day, 2 days, they come and go. They don't spend much money in the hotel or no money. Same thing happened with Georgia. They come from Georgia to spend money for shopping. Same with Bulgaria. And those people are counted as a tourist, but their money they spend doesn't go under tourism industry. We are really complaining about it. So this calculation is not representing the correct situation. We will have to, as academicians, study this issue and make more, develop better formulas to see the performance of tourism industry per person per night. And when we look at that calculation, per person per night is $99 for this year, and it was $86 last year. So I think it sounds a little bit better if you change the calculation system, but still, if they are spending less money in Turkey, but as I said before, hotel construction costs 3 times cheaper than other countries. So, I mean, if you compare a hotel in Spain with hotel in Antalya, if a 300-room hotel in Spain costs $100 million, but the same hotel costs $40 million in Turkey, of course, return on investment, even though they sell 50% less with room revenue, will be higher. So we have to calculate it in terms of return on investment, and we have to analyze the figures.
Thank you. And I personally, I have observed, I visited different hotels, different destinations. Sometimes I think even myself, when I go to Turkey, I spend more than $1,000 per person. This figure is maybe misleading. The next question is about which countries are leading in inbound tourism. I can answer that. Russia, I think Germany, England, and I also see Iran and Bulgaristan. Yeah, Bulgaria. All right. And seasonality issue. How can we overcome seasonality issue? I think everyone is trying, and Professor Ibrahim Birkan mentioned the global warming is also helping, and hospitality businesses are becoming more, I think, competent. They're offering different strategies, different products to extend their season. Okay. One more, Kwanch is asking, finding qualified human resources is a main problem of the hospitality tourism industry in Turkey. How can we solve it? I tell you, it's a major problem in every country. Turnover is very high. It's not just specific to Turkey, but better employment opportunities, better pay, training, maybe the strategies we can recommend, but at least it's more respected. This having a career in the hospitality industry in Turkey is more respected than before. 30, 40 years ago, when I started studying, they told me, oh, you won't have a good career. Even you won't get, be able to find a wife because your career, your brand image, your career may not be that good. So I don't know, Muzo Hocam, Ebru and Musa Hocam, do you want to make any comments, or Ibrahim Hocam, about human resources issues?
Musa?
I think it's my turn, huh?
Yes,
Because
yes.
of the education, is human resources is my topic. So, you have already mentioned, Professor, that our talents are just leaving the country. So it depends on several factors. We have some internal weaknesses, but we have threats as well. So, as far as I see, the students are also complaining about the professions, and the professionals are complaining about the lack of the expertise. So this is a question that has been trying to be answered since past. But I think we have a qualified human resources at hand. We are doing our best in order to train them, but they need to stay in our country so that we are going to have those talents on hand, I guess. This is my answer for that.
Okay.
If we can spread the extended season, tourism season, from 4 months to 8 months, they will be more willing to stay because they will have a career, and companies will be keeping them longer. That will be one thing that will help. But I think I have a brother in the restaurant business, Richmond, Virginia. His biggest headache is the employee turnover. I mean, yesterday called me, somebody didn't show up. He was going to do the dishes. So this is a common problem all over the world, unfortunately.
And COVID has not helped with this issue. Many qualified employees, I think, left the hospitality and tourism industry, and they are not, some of them are not returning back. So it's a global issue. We need to, I think, businesses, hospitality and tourism businesses need to work to think about how they can retain their talent. And some companies globally are doing an excellent job with training, with appreciation, with offering better packages and so forth. Perhaps we can have another panel webinar on this issue. Before we finish, I want to give, I think these are the questions. This has been a very pleasant webinar. I want to give 1 minute to each panelist for their final words. Let's start with Ebru Hocam, ladies first. Yes, Ebru, 1 minute, last words, comments, suggestions, please.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your commitment today to this journey. I hope we are going to work all together in order to shape the future of hospitality and tourism, not only in Turkey, but of course also beyond. Thank you so much. It was very nice for me to be here among you. Thank you.
Professor Musa Pınar Hocam.
Well, I also thank for the opportunity to be part of this panel. But I want to leave this statement that I use for my MBAs, marketing and branding. I asked them, marketing is like asking someone for a date, and branding is getting the date. So every country is asking tourists to visit. Is a brand, the destinations attracting the tourists. So we're going to understand marketing is asking for the tourists to visit, but brand destinations are the ones get the tourists. So let's get a strong brand in Turkey and every possible areas. Thank you.
Professor Ibrahim Birkan Hocam.
I also would like to take this opportunity to thank you one more time. I think we can discuss several issues on these useful channels. For instance, we can discuss the issue of all-inclusive system. We can discuss education, we can discuss promotion, we can so many things. And today's topic was also very interesting. And about Turkey, which was the main issue for today's topic, tourism in Turkey will continue to grow at a higher rate than European and world average, and future prospects in the long term seems also to be very bright for Turkey's tourism.
Thank you, thank you. Professor Muzo Uysal, your turn.
Well, I'd like to make just a minor comment in terms of investment and then infrastructure, and then maybe just a couple of other small points. I agree that the structure of infrastructure is good, but I think some of the hotels need to be revamped, and I think they have to invest into investing for renovation, uplifting type. I think rather than adding, I know Professor Birkan said 2.2 million beds. That is true, concentrated in certain regions in Turkey. But I think if you look at what has happened or happening this summer, 2024, even tourism experts in Turkey made a point that we experienced these unexpected challenges for Turkey's tourism industry. Because first time in a long time, hotel occupancy rates along the Mediterranean Izmir region has significantly declined. I think there is a shift in terms of, yet we have higher number of visitors, but lower occupancy. I think this could be a signal for us. We need to really just think about alternative forms of lodging. I see a shift. I think maybe some of our visitors from Europe, neighboring countries, even from the USA, are seeking alternative lodging forms. I think that part of lodging in Turkey is also growing because some of our typical places could be a little bit pricey. I just wanted to make that point. I think that enforces the fact that we, as a destination, Türkiye, in order to remain a top destination for travelers around the globe, we really have to, as stakeholders, adopt this flexible, proactive, adaptive management style to really just face some of these challenges. Because I know this is for the moment, but I think our future is bright. And then we still have to explore new investment areas, hotel rooms in luxury market area, in my mind, because the ones that we have would be outdated for the past 30, 40 years. And then rather than adding new rooms, they have to really just improve the establishment, the premises they represent, so that they keep up with the current market trends. Thank you. And I also enjoyed being part of this. And thank you, Professor Okumuş, for a wonderful role to moderate the session. And our good friends brought up so many points. I know there's so much, right, Ibrahim, to talk about the tourism in Turkey, but I think this is a good start for us to encourage others to think about flexibility, adaptation, style or management approach to our issues, I guess, in Turkey. But we have to work together to make things happen. No question. Thank you.
I want to thank all the panelists for their comments and sharing their knowledge. Türkiye is a complete destination offering so many tourism products and experiences, and it has potential to offer even more. 49 million tourists visiting. But when I think about Orlando, where I live, Orlando receives 75 million tourists. Is just one region as a city, as an area, almost 80 million. Why not Turkey would receive 100 million, 150 million? For this, we need an excellent tourism plan, long-term strategic plan, and then also think about clustering. For Turkey to remain competitive and be even more competitive, we need to think about supporting destinations, all the clusters supporting the tourism industry, including the transportation, agriculture, construction, and banking, and so many other industries. And Turkish people are always hospitable, and we need to better train our frontline employees and as well as managers and also including government officials about tourism. One last comment, Professor Jafar Jafari asked why Turkey changed her name from Turkey to Türkiye. I think it was a good move and it's now working better. I never liked when people called, oh, Turkey, Turkey, Turkey. The meaning wasn't that pleasant. Now Türkiye is more accepted and it's a better brand image. And also when tourists go to Turkey, even for business, I hear so many good things about Türkiye, what Türkiye can offer to her visitors. Professor Kazım Vafadari and Professor Jafar Jafari, we would like to thank you for giving us this wonderful opportunity to talk about the tourism industry in Turkey. And I'm sure many of these comments, issues we discuss are relevant to many other destinations globally. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Fevzi. It was a very comprehensive and beautiful discussion. The more I think what and where I can add something, I think you didn't leave anything. All presentations, they were comprehensive, and you pictured the destination. I think Turkey, as you presented, in a way that Ibrahim, for example, covered the economic and natural capital, and Ibru about the human resources and human capital. I learned from Muzo about the socio-cultural capital, the authenticity of the destination, and Musa covered about the branding and the institutional capital. So all when bring it together is a comprehensive picture of a sustainable destination management. And I can see a lot of change in that region and the destination. So if people are coming to Turkey for shopping, they are tourists. If they are coming for leisure, also they are tourists. So it means that Turkey has a unique position now to meet the demand of visitors who are coming from. So this will be an art to make people, for example, who come from Iran for shopping to also visit some places. This is an opportunity. And if this as a destination is and a brand is attracting many people, so it's a very unique opportunity also to bring a diversified tourist experiences and production that can, as Abru mentioned, be the subject of human resource management. How to encourage the existing market for spending more, for staying longer, for to play the role of the target market, what the tourism industry demand and need. We can think about this maybe in another webinar, because it's not a time now to discuss about all these, and the subject is very important and wide that we cannot finish it in one session. I think I'm going to pass it on to Professor Jafar and Malcolm. If you have any thing to add, please go on, and then maybe we give the floor to Jafar for conclusion. We always give the difficult job to Jafar, and he kindly accepted. Malcolm, do you want to add something?
Yeah, my job is supposed to be rapporteur. I'd like to thank you all for such a brilliant mix of discussions about Turkey and how it has developed. I want to make a point. I'll do a couple of comments really very quickly because Em also said most of mine. Turkey's turned itself into a hub for regional, inter-regional tourism. Discussion by Professor Birkin talked about Turkish Airlines, and that was really quite fortuitous, because the Turkish Airlines and Emirates in Dubai have been in the forefront of creating a local but also international tourism destination as a hub. The second point I'd like to make is the one of internal branding. This was raised during your discussion. Basically, the local has to be persuaded to be part of the whole thing and given the opportunity to be part of what's going on. And the third point is that the discussion on economics of tourism basically pointed out that most of tourism businesses are small. And so therefore we have a duty to help them come along on this journey. The journey of this created Turkey as a hub for tourism is also very applicable to what they do internally. So thank you.
Thank you.
Jafar.
Well, thank you. I also thank the panel for a very rich discussion, very diversified discussion. Fevzi, you summarized what I was going to do, so I'm not going to summarize your summary. You did a perfect job. So I allow myself to editorialize my summary and add questions that I wish we had time to discuss them. I think one of you mentioned Pepsi, you yourself mentioned that Iran is one of the big markets for inbound tourism. At the same time, Iranians are buying second homes in Turkey in a large number. And I wonder how the second home market is integrating into the tourism industry. Not just second homes from Iran, but second homes from anywhere. Right now I'm in Mallorca. Mallorca in Spain is a home of second homes. A lot of Germans have second homes here. So managing second homes as part of tourism industry is quite a challenge, and the cultural clashes that it may generate. Airbnb was not mentioned, for example. In a Muslim country, Airbnb needs to be mentioned because they go to places that are very conservative and it causes problems. Already some of the problems of Airbnb everywhere is known, but more so in Muslim countries. I don't want to repeat what was said. You talk about the growth, wonderful, but then you talk about educating people to occupy the growth. And more rooms was mentioned, that we need more rooms. We have to make sure that we are training enough for people to occupy the new jobs. So these are some of the things that are extremely important. About tourism was mentioned, and I agree that is a big problem. Muzo, I don't like the word over tourism myself either. And I don't think I like your demand. I don't know what you call the demand something.
Over demand.
Over demand. Both over tourism and over demand is looking from outside, looking from demand point of view. I think over tourism is an internal issue. So we need to talk about over capacity. Do we have the capacity to have more tourism? And capacity is not physical capacity, but also capacity to tolerate more tourism, the host community. And I shouldn't talk about host community and quality of life and well-being in front of Mozo because he has books on that, and I support your wonderful books. So well-being of the tourist and well-being of the host is extremely important. Just expanding and expanding and expanding, and not asking ourselves, are the residents happy? Are the residents endorsing this expansion? That would cause problems. I'm not saying that Turkey has this problem yet, but it is a problem that will come when overcapacity development takes place. Going from spreading development to remote areas that's also in Muslim countries would not be sometimes a wise idea, because there might be very conservative people at the areas which are not frequented by tourism. So it has to be development expansion should be with cautious type of thing. So right policies need to be in place as where to go, where not to go. I love everything you said, and I just want to add my own about branding. A number of times it was mentioned, but branding should be to the liking of the host community as well. So we cannot come up with a brand which is appealing in the tourism industry and attracting, but the host community do not appreciate to be branded the way the brand is branding them. So do we ask really the host community what they think about themselves? And branding should be about unique selling proposition, something that somebody else doesn't have, and would be very unique to the place. I could go on and on. You know, I'm editorializing some of the things I heard, which maybe leads to a follow-up discussion. And I would like also to uh, 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 end on a couple of positive points. It was mentioned that education and training is very well done within Turkey. I have to also add that Turkish scholars outside of Turkey are doing wonderful job as well. And I'm serious about it. It's not just a compliment, it's a reality. Think about the top journals in the field of tourism. A good number of them are headed by Turkey nationals. So I said, so you are doing a good job within the country and also spreading knowledge across the world. Thank you very much for that. On my going up with another good item from Turkey. Yes, Turkish airline is doing wonderful for Turkey, improving the brand and the image of Turkey. I just looked it up when you were talking about Turkish airline flies to 266 international destinations. Turkish airline flies to 130 countries. It is amazing. It is amazing, and that adds to the image of Turkey. And I also like the idea of calling Turkey, which is the name, has been always inside. But I want to tell you, my friends, you yourself don't use it. You use the word Turkey yourselves in this panel. I put it down exactly 104 times. Instead of saying Turkey, you say Turkey. So we should also use it ourselves if it is going to be part of the brand. Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Professor
much.
Jafari, thank you again for giving us this opportunity. I think what is happening is based on this webinar, there are at least 2-3 new topics that you can consider for future webinars. Second homes in Turkey, owned by Turkish people, is one huge discussion because they are empty almost 6 to 9 months. And second homes owned by, let's say, foreigners is another discussion topic. It's also sensitive. Some fully support, some don't support. Thank you. I think it has been a very good webinar, a lot of good topics, discussions, and suggestions.
Thank you very much, and we hope to host you again. Thank you for all the audience who spent this long time with us in the East Asia. In Japan time is almost midnight, and I see still about more than 50 people here on Zoom and a number of people on YouTube. And we are going to continue this discussion in the future webinars. In the chat, you can see the link to the Scott Video Library, the YouTube channel that we have almost 100 webinars recording are available on YouTube, and you can access freely. You can even introduce it to your students for any purpose. And we are looking to see you again on Scott. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
One last comment, if I may. We're also in the process of trying to turn the webinars into a series of books. So when you get the call, please talk to us about your book. No comment, Kazet?
Thank you very much.
Thank
Yes. Thank you very
Thank you and
much,
good night.
and good night to everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.